Hi, my name is Matt Jordan. I'm currently a board member for several companies in the automotive aftermarket, including Covercraft, Retronics Performance Brands, CGA Pony Parts, and Extra Mile Brands. Prior to being sort of semi-retired into my board role, I was CEO of Covercraft Industries for several years. Prior to that, I was CEO of the Aftermarket Performance Group. And prior to that, I was in the collectibles or sort of the restoration part of the market as the CEO of Eckler Industries. My career as an executive has really spanned several industries and everything, but focusing on the automotive aftermarket, it began in 2003 as I came into Eckler Industries as a CEO or a CFO and head of marketing, later became CEO. The thing that I found in working with private equity groups is there's always a real emphasis on looking for opportunities to find savings and to grow the top line of the industry of the business. And I've always found that, you know, being able to focus on the growth is where our time is best spent. Getting help from third parties often to look for those extra opportunities to find savings is really helpful. And that's how I got to know Treya. And my experience with Treya began when I was with the Aftermarket Performance Group. We brought Treya in to help us out with our shipping costs. And the irony was I had already renegotiated our shipping costs, generated $500,000 in savings. I thought, hey, these guys have been introduced to us. They're supposed to be some rainmakers. Let's see how they do. And they found even more savings. So it really impressed me. And so as a result, I've recommended their use for other companies where I'm on the board, and I've used them at Covercraft. And at Covercraft, their role was not just freight savings, but a broader look at all of our opportunity for savings, including procurement. The challenges with procurement aren't limited to Covercraft alone. A lot of times, many of the companies in our industry started off as very small businesses, and we've grown, and a lot of times we promoted people from within into some of these key roles. And one of the challenges that affects procurement is that we get in a certain pattern of behavior with our suppliers, and we don't know what's possible, what is fair, what is the right thing to be asking for to generate additional savings or improvements in our terms and all those things. And so we were fortunate in that when we brought Treya in, they kind of told us a little bit about best practices. And what was really important is that they didn't just step in and do the work and then walk away with the check. They came in and showed our team how this is done. And so we actually developed that skill set in-house. Well, I'd had prior experience with Treya, and so I was eager to bring them into Covercraft. And part of the prior experience was what I had done with the Aftermarket Performance Group, and that was highly successful. So that opened it up to us. When we spoke with them about doing a similar job at Covercraft, they told us about other services that they offered, and that got us very interested. And what I was especially attracted to is they said there's all these other things we can focus on, and these guys had delivered really well on what they had promised before. And so I kind of came in with high expectations of what they could do to help out Covercraft. What I liked most about working with Treya was not only did they sort of achieve at or better than the results that they promised, but the process that they ran was highly transparent, highly visible, and so that my team learned how to do it, right? So that, next time we don't have to hire a third party necessarily. We know how to do these things moving forward. And that to me is like bringing in an instructor, or it's a way of, it's better almost than hiring some super expensive person who can come in and do it once. We were able to move faster than we would have been able to do, and our team learned it. So they've developed a new skill set to help us moving forward. The Treya team did a really good job during the sales process of outlining expectations. And what amazed me is how they were able to do that. Really a fairly rudimentary look at our data. We're saying, we know you spend this much. We think we can deliver this much of a benefit. And in every case, they were conservative. They delivered at or above what they committed to, which is really important. And, you know, they really did do a lot of the heavy lifting. Our team was exposed to it and got to participate in the process, but it really allowed us to leverage resources because it didn't require my team to do all the work. And I think that that's especially important in the environment we're in right now. The economy is a little bit of an unknown. There's a lot of people out there saying like, wow, sales are tougher than they were a year or two ago. What are we going to do? Well, everybody looks at costs. You're looking at expenses, but you don't want to have to bring in a high cost new hire that's going to basically take several months to come up to speed. With these guys, they set the expectation, they do the heavy lifting, your team develops the skill sets, but you get the job done much faster than you could have otherwise. And in this environment, that's it. It's almost like free. It's found money almost because they are really doing the heavy lifting, and their compensation is really based on delivering the results. Well, I have recommended Treya to several companies, not just those I'm on the board for, but I frequently get asked to do work for other companies. And I often tell them Treya is the way to go, largely because, they do dig in, they do get the results they promise. It's a light effort, low calorie effort for your team. And so it really does pay off that way. This particular point in time, I think it's more important. Every company you talk to is trying to think, what are we going to do with a toughening economic environment? And the fact is, driving sales growth in this time is hard. So what do companies do? They look at expenses. And you don't necessarily have the resources to really dig as deep. You may not even have the expertise or knowledge of what's possible to dig as deep in this environment as you might otherwise. So a group like Treya can come in, give you an idea what savings are. This is something you can take to your board and say, we've got this third party that's proven, and they're going to deliver this kind of savings, and you are going to get those savings. Throughout my career, I've worked with a lot of different groups who promised to come in and do this. And one of the things I've seen in the past is, frankly, I've always thought we did a pretty good job negotiating our stuff. All right. And a lot of times these guys have come in and they'll take a look at it. They'll see that we've done a decent job. And then they kind of just like disappear. Right. With Treya, these guys, they dug, they probed, they found opportunities where we didn't even think they might exist. And so it really was great. And the fact is that the whole team that we worked with, and it was a Treya team working with my teams, they're good guys to work with. And that actually counts for something as well. I hate to go off color here, but life's too short to have to work with the son of a bitch, right? So it's nice to be able to work with someone who you can trust them and you can count on them to get it done, and they're good people to work with. I just want to thank you guys also for giving me the opportunity to share my experience and the companies I've worked with, and to help kind of spread the word about Treya, because as I said, these are good guys to work with, and they deliver their promise. And those are kind of companies I would like to support as well.